Hola, bienvenido a todos. Mi nombre es Tommy Rivera. Means hello, my name is Tommy Rivera. Welcome, everybody. I would like to thank you all for coming out today for Bristol's first ever Hispanic Heritage Festival, celebrating unity and community and advocacy for all. So thank you all for coming out today. There's a few community partners that I would like to give a shout out to for their help with putting on this event. There is the Bristol, Virginia Police Department, who's been providing support for the past month to make sure this is a safe, secure event for everyone in the community. So thank you. The Sullivan County Democratic Party has had multiple members raise donations to help with the park rental, as well as the porta potties back here if anyone needs any. So let's give them a big shout out. We also have the East Tennessee Democratic Socialists of America, who provided our sign that we've got over here, so thank you to them. Thank you. And I do also have a few personal thanks that I would like to extend. Firstly, to my mother. She made this shirt for me, so thank you. This is a Boki symbol. Boki translates to frog. It's actually the symbol of national pride for Puerto Rico. So thank you for making this for me, and a matching set for my son as well. So he's running around here. If you see another little Boki, that will be him. So we have the matching shirts. The second personal thanks that I would like to extend is to her mother, my grandmother. She's in Florida, so she's not here today. But she was the last generation in our family that was born in Puerto Rico. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit of her story today to kind of highlight how I was influenced by the culture and how it's helped me throughout my life. Before we jump into that, though, I would like to share a little bit about why we're hosting the festival and about myself. So, of course, the subtitle is Unity and Community and Advocacy for All. So we're in a very tense political climate at the moment, and I think it's important to know that we are here as a community. You know, Latin people are from all over the world, but there's people here, and we chose to be here. We're proud of where we came from, but we're proud of being here as well. So we're one people, and we're proud to be a part of Bristol and Appalachia. So that's why I felt determined to make this festival. You know, make connections across the community, meet new people, try things you hadn't tried before, things like that. A little bit about myself. As you can tell, I'm a community organizer, hence that's why you're all here. I'm also a banker in my day job. But some of the more proud labels that I have, as I mentioned, I'm a parent. My son is here. And also I'm Puerto Rican, or as we like to say on the island, Boricua. So, I've always grown up here in the United States. I was born in Florida, but I've always had the culture. Growing up as a little kid, my mom would bring me over to my titi's house. It's kind of like aunts in Spanish, and we would always listen to music. Me and my primas, my cousins, we would always listen and dance to the music. They just didn't want us to know what was going on. We'd always hear them run out back and forth in Spanish real fast. You couldn't make out what they're saying. Little things like that. We'd have our traditional American Thanksgiving dinners, the turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, and then there'd be the arroz con gandules, or Spanish rice, on the table too. But one thing that always kind of stuck out to me was my grandmother's dedication to her community. She would always make empanadas if she saw a family member or friend in need, and she would sell them. And even when I was just a few years old, she was featured in a local newspaper for getting the Jacksonville Jaguars involved with an empanada associated to help a coworker who was sick. So with that kind of background, I wanted to kind of share her story, because her story is how I'm here today. So my grandmother was born in the little city of Tibes, which is just north of Ponce, Puerto Rico. You can kind of think of it as a hot tropical paradise, because it is in the Caribbean. But one thing that kind of helps picture what it's like, every time she comes to visit us, she talks about how going through the mountains up and down and around reminds her of being back home. So imagine Bristol, but like 1,000,000 more % humidity, a little bit of jungle, and that kind of gives you the idea of of where she was raised. So with that, she was born and raised in Puerto Rico. At the age of 16, that was actually her first experience coming to the United States. The immigration story for Puerto Ricans is a little bit different than lots of others in the Latin community. Lots of others, they have to cross an international border. With Puerto Rico, we have been a colony of the United States since the late 1800s. So Puerto Ricans have had citizenship since 1917. So even though we don't have that aspect, the legal aspect, we still have the cultural perspective of coming to a new place and learning a new language, different culture, things of that aspect. So with that being said, she came here at age 16. She had a sister who had a second child. She was coming to help. And during that time, she began working in a factory, kind of got a taste of the higher wages and a little slice of the American dream in a sense. But after a little while, she did go back home to Puerto Rico. And as I mentioned, she's from the mountain area in Tibes. So when she came back, whenever she had to go to work, she began babysitting for a family in the city. So it's similar to what lots of people experience around here. She would have to come out of the mountain, go through the valley, and make it into the city to get to work. I'm sure lots of people here could probably relate to that, or at least know someone who can. But luckily, during that time of going through the valley, is actually where she began dating my grandfather. And they got married, and when at age 19, they moved to the United States. And that's when they started their family, my mother, my aunt, which eventually led to me, my cousins, and even the great-grandchildren in the family. So it's very similar but different in a sense. She had to come over here and learn a whole new language. And as a kid, it always just went in my head like, oh, she just talks different, a little funny, My cousins, we would always make a joke like, oh, she said tree instead of three. The little accent thing. But she embraced the challenge of coming to a new place to pursue the American dream and to help those in her community. And I think it's really important to reflect on those aspects of unity and community and being there for others and pursuing, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, pursuing that American dream, which is why I've organized this event today for everyone to come out. So please feel free to come out and look at the different vendors that are allies. There are multiple Latin businesses that are managed and owned by Latin people, so please support the immigrant businesses in our community. There's construction businesses. We have, there's a church over here that we have that is a Latin church. There's cleaners, there's all kinds of different jobs and businesses. We have local bodegas. Let's support our immigrant and Hispanic Latin community and show that we really are united as one. The next speaker I would like to introduce to you, her name is Iania Nordella. She's actually a WCYB news anchor, and she will be speaking on her experience as well.
Thank you, Tommy, and thank you all for coming out today. Buenas tardes. Tommy's a hard act to follow, you guys, so I don't know if I'm going to do better, but I'm going to try my best. But like he said, my name is Jania Nordello, and I work at WCYB right over there. I've been working there for like a year and a half. I'm a graduate from Appalachian State University. Roll news, everybody. And I graduated there in 2023, and I've been at WCYB since. But I wouldn't be here without my parents. So my dad is from Cuba and my mom is from Venezuela. So I'm a mix of those two countries. And they really instilled so many values. My dad fled communism at a really young age. He went to Miami, like a lot of Cubans did, and started with nothing. They were a family of 6, so that was a big family and a lot of mouths to feed. And my abuelo and my abuela did a great job with them. And my dad really worked hard. He had a college degree, but that didn't really matter when you kind of got here. He was an architect, and he started doing carpentry stuff, and he taught me a lot that I know now. I wish I was better at building. I probably should be, but oh well. And then my mom, she fled from Venezuela, also went to Miami. Years later, she was in her 20s. And what I admire most of my parents is that they came here not knowing English, not knowing anybody, and they really are the example of the American dream. Now they're small business owners in Sparta, North Carolina, and they do really well. They learned how to speak English. They are kind of a pillar for our community back in Sparta, North Carolina. And I'm immensely proud of them. And my abuela, she came from Nicaragua not super long ago, and she worked hard and she became a resident. Now she works at a factory, and she doesn't know any English, and she goes every day to work in Southwest Virginia, and she uses her little translator. And she's 77, and I admire her and everything that she does. But I'm so proud to be in Bristol, and I'm so proud of the community that is here. Everybody has been so kind. And I wish that I did more stories with the Hispanic population. That's something that I definitely do need to work on. So if anybody has any stories, please come talk to me. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. I'm a little bit sick, and I know you guys don't want to hear me ramble anymore, but I am immensely proud to be here, and I'm immensely proud of this community that is here today. So thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much for your speech and sharing your experience and story with us. We'll definitely want to have you help capture more stories for the Latin community here locally. Our next speaker that we're going to be having is pastor of Lee Street Baptist Church. His name is Reverend Dwayne Mabry. So please give him a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Good. It's just such a great thing to be here to celebrate this Hispanic Awareness Day month. And so, as a product of Southwest Virginia, I grew up in a predominantly white culture as a black kid. There was just a little acknowledgement of other ethnicities and races that were around us, and virtually no awareness of what those cultures might represent to us. Over the years, the demographics have changed a little bit, but it's still a challenge that we still have. And I'm glad to be here, just to be a cog in the wheel to help push that awareness and consciousness here today. I believe with everything that is within me that our differences should not be a weakness to our nation, but they should be a strength to us. The borders that we have around our nation were not invaded or have not been invaded, but they should be open for everyone to come and make a living in this great nation. And not to demonize any certain group that has come. And a lot of times we have done that over the years. Throughout our nation's history, we have demonized people who have come just trying to make a better way of life. And so today I want to say that this nation is for all peoples. Amen? And I look at this quote over here, which says, "When a foreigner resides among you in the land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as a native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt." And so that came from the Old Testament scripture, but still it holds true for Christians and many religions, is that our religions usually look to push the value of loving one another And when people come that are from another place, then we should be hospitable to them and not try to push them out. We should appreciate the gift that they offer us. And I'm thinking the New Testament where it has a verse that says that we should be hospitable to those who are strangers, those who are not like us. Because in being hospitable to them, we may be entertaining angels unaware. If you think about the idea of angels, those are those who are helping us, those who are contributing to us in our time of need. And so many times when you go out of your way to be hospitable to somebody else, you might be opening yourself up to receive a blessing back in return. And I think that's just something that all people should be able to do. And that's what we're lifting up today. And we have an environment now where we have many in our government that are trying to pit one race against another. And so I think we as people should remember always to stand united with one another. Now, as I've said, I'm from Southwest Virginia, but I am not unfamiliar with the immigration process. My wife is from Grenada in the Caribbean, and I can remember as I went through that process, I was amazed. I didn't know it was so expensive. I didn't know it was so complicated. I didn't know it was so unfair. And it's really a daunting task for anyone to be able to maneuver through that system. But yet we still act as if our immigration system is not broken. And so instead of demonizing people for that system, we should actually fix the system and make it fair, make it less expensive, make it something where it's offering hope to more people and not less people. And so I'm glad to be here today. Thank you, and God bless you.
Our next speaker here is Jose Raul Montes Rosas. He's the owner of Gio's over here on West State Street. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Well, my name is Jose, and I'm the owner of Gio's Candy and More. And I just want to tell you guys a little bit about me. So I was born and raised in Mexico City until my parents brought me and my 3 siblings to the States in 2000. Once arrived here, we lived in Bristol and Marion, Virginia for about a year, and then we moved to Bristol in 2001, and we've been here ever since. Now as to having family of my own, it's such a scary thing to think about. My parents left everything behind just for a chance at the American dream. And as many immigrant parents, I watched my parents work so hard every day until 2011, I saw my mom open her first business. And at that point, I knew that the American dream was real, but I knew being an immigrant is going to be super hard to get there. And at the time also, I was in school, in high school, watching my friends get the driver's license, taking ACTs to go to college, and that's just something I wasn't allowed to do. But in 2012, President Barack Obama signed the executive order of Deferred Action on Childhood Arrivals, also known as DACA. That changed everything for me, my family, and 100,000 more. I was able to get my driver's license and pursue higher education at Highlands Community College, where I got my CNA license. And I worked at the State Hospital Marion and also worked with LA Community in Abingdon. And for me and 500,000 plus more immigrants, having DACA helped us do something we could only dream about. Some became doctors, nurses, teachers, bankers, and for me, it opened up an easy way for me to open my business. And coming back home to Bristol, my city, I noticed that so many businesses are actually opened by our land communities. Tommy said there's roofers, there's construction workers, cleaning companies, to just restaurant owners. And also I get to see how much Bristol's grown with our land community. I've seen people from Nicaragua, Colombia, Honduras, Peru, and just a little bit everywhere. And it's kind of great to see how much our land community is going with Bristol. And I just can't wait to see what we can all do to grow together. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Our next speaker is Herman Garcia. He's with the Washington County Democratic Party. So we'll give him a moment to shine.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm with the Washington County Democratic Party. I'm also with the Brady Group of East Tennessee. We're out here giving away free gun locks for anybody that might want them to help protect children. I really want to start off with saying that this morning I had to do something that I never thought I'd have to do. That's call my family in Chicago to find out how they were. My family in Chicago basically said, yeah, everybody's okay, despite what happened yesterday where ICE killed somebody. My family is doing okay, and they're saying, no, we're about to go out and party because this weekend is all about Hispanic heritage. And so we're going to go out and enjoy ourselves. We don't care what ICE is doing. We're going to enjoy ourselves. So I wish everybody else could do the same thing. Enjoy your heritage, enjoy the moment, because we don't know what tomorrow brings. But I also want to know, how many here have heard what happened this week with the Supreme Court? No? The Supreme Court decision basically stated that ICE and police could stop people simply by the color of their skin. And this is what Sotomayor said right after that decision. The Monday ruling means the Fourth Amendment may as well no longer protect us in the rights of people who happen to spend a certain way, speak a certain way, appear to work at a certain low-wage job, a type of legitimate job that pays very little, because that is an unconscionable and irreconcilable way of thinking with our nation's Constitution. I dissent. Now think about that. Our Supreme Court, the ultimate law of the land, basically said that anybody can be discriminated against now, simply because of the way you speak, the way you look, or if you're in one of those low-paying jobs, because nobody else wants them. Nobody wants to go pick the tomatoes or wash cars at a car wash. So some of these immigrants will take those jobs because that's what they can do. But right now, ICE basically has got the rule of the land. And we need to figure something out to try to figure out that, hey, that is just not right. The Fourth Amendment protects all of us. That means all of us. And that's for illegal search and seizures. First Amendment protects us for our right to speak. The Fifth Amendment protects us from having to say something that might actually say that you're guilty of something. That's what the Fifth Amendment is supposed to do. But Fourth Amendment right now is the one that is being trampled on the most. Illegal search and seizures, no due process. And so we need to figure out, how is it that we've got this way? And you might say, well, this affects LA, Washington, D.C., Chicago, all these major cities. Not going to affect me. I'm here in little old town. Nobody's gonna bother with Bristol, Virginia, Bristol, Tennessee. Who cares? Well, you should care. Because guess what? ICE arrested just somebody this week. Out of an ICE arrest was a worker out of Amigo's restaurant. ICE arrested a couple of individuals at Red Ginger restaurant in Elizabethton. That restaurant is now closed because they don't have the ability to continue without their workers. Red Ginger was voted in the top 10 restaurants in this country. And that was right here in your own neighborhood in Elizabethton. Red Ginger restaurant, top 10. And now they're closed because of ICE. Now you might say, well, that still doesn't matter to me. I'm not gonna be affected. Well, guess what? There is a safe house now open in Abingdon. They're saying it's a safe house because they're detaining people there. They're not calling them criminals, because if they were criminals, you know, after all, that's what they said that they were going to try to do, take away all the most vicious criminals, the drug dealers, rapists, and so on, and arrest them and put them in jail. Well, these people are in a safe house in Abingdon. Not in a jail, what they call a safe house. If they really were not criminals, why don't they just make a note of them and release them, let them go? But no. You know who else did things like that? Putting people in safe houses? Nazi Germany. They put people in safe houses before they sent them away to concentration camps. It's one step at a time. We're right there right now, where we're being ignorant of some of the things that are going on in our own communities. But we need to wake up and see what's happening so we can stop it. We cannot allow this to continue. We cannot be the Nazi Germany of 1936. Now, I don't know if you saw this ruling this week about Memphis, that now the president wants to send troops to Memphis. And our good old governor in Tennessee said, bring them on. Well, we can stop that. We can decide, the people, and I'm talking about everybody, Virginia, Tennessee, everybody in this nation, call Governor Lee. Let him know you do not want troops in Memphis. And this is what you tell him, because he's not going to listen to you simply by you calling and saying you don't want troops in Memphis. What you need to do is emphasize, if you do not do anything about stopping the troops in Memphis, I am going to boycott Memphis. I am not going to travel to Memphis or do business with anything in Memphis. And when the governor hears that there is a boycott of Memphis, money talks. Money is what roots the evil of this nation. And when you tell them that your money is not going to go to the city of Memphis, yes, I hate to hurt the people of Memphis, but we need to stop the evil of the troops going to Memphis. So that's what we need to do. We need to boycott Memphis. So you need to call Governor Lee, tell him, I am not going to go to Memphis and spend my money there until the troops are gone. And I guarantee you, those troops will be disappearing a lot faster than normally we would do. You know, they say 30 days is what they want to give the troops. Well, maybe if we get on a boycott, maybe they'll leave in a week. I hope. Now, another thing too, I don't know if you've heard about some of these arrests that ICE has made over this last 6 months or so. Several people that came here to this country seeking asylum were arrested. simply because they haven't had all their paperwork in order. One of those people, and I really want to emphasize this, is Isidro Perez. He was a person that came here from Cuba. Speaking of Cuba, he came here from Cuba right after the communists took over in Cuba. He was living here 60 years. And he never did anything to try to become an American citizen because he always had the hopes. He had the dream that one day the communist government in Cuba would go away. And that day he was hoping to go back to Cuba as a free person in a free country. ICE detained him, put him in jail, and he died 3 days later. That was something that should not have happened, because anybody that comes from Cuba, it's the law. It is the law of the land that if you are a resident of Cuba and you come to this country, you are automatically granted asylum. He should have never been detained. He should have simply told the people, if they actually knew the law, that, guess what? I'm a Cuban. I'm just waiting for Cuba to be free before I can go back. And they should have just released him there and then on the spot, but they didn't. Because, again, he was brown-skinned. That's what matters to them. So what can you do? And I know there's a lot of white people here, and there's some people that have told me this before. I'm white, I kind of feel awkward. I don't know if I really, if it's my place to help out. Yes, it is your place to help. It is your place to help our immigrant communities. Just because you're white, it does not matter. We rely on you to help us out. So what you can do, go shop at an immigrant community's place. There's a couple of businesses here that are immigrants. Shop at those businesses. Find out where they're located and shop at them. You know, I do business with a lot of places, and when this all started, I used to go to a Mexican grocery store. I would say 30, 40 people in there. When I go shopping there now, I might see 5 or 6. The people are scared. The people are scared. I've gotten phone calls from people from Morristown because they are scared. They don't know what to do. But like I said, here's something you can do. Go out and find out who these people are and escort them. Escort them to their lawyers, if they need lawyers, to the court. Take them to grocery stores because they need somebody to accompany them to a grocery store. Take them to the church because some of these people are too scared to even go to a church. They've seen the images of ICE outside a church just waiting for people to come out. So escort them. There's a group, I don't know if they're here, I think they are here that it's a veterans group that's going to be forming. Tennessee, Virginia veterans. If you are interested, we are forming a group of veterans to help escort immigrants. We need to do everything we can to support these people. Please. Another thing that you can do, something real simple, is use this. Use your phone. Film everything. Film them. Because once they are being filmed, the attitude changes. The attitude of the police, ICE, they change because now they're being filmed. If they do something wrong, they know it's on record. And eventually, guess what? This administration is not going to be in power forever. Once this administration is gone and the actual rule of law is back on the courts, we will be going back on some of these videos and looking at all those cops, all those ICE agents, National Guards, everybody that violated the rights of the human beings of this country. And we will be prosecuting these individuals. And if you know anything about what happened after Nazi Germany fell, it's this thing called Nuremberg trials. German soldiers were being put on trial. The common excuse was, I didn't know, or I was just following orders. Guess what? Nuremberg trials, the judges said, that is not an excuse. You are found guilty. So if these police, ICE, whatever, are violating the rights of all our human beings, not just Americans, but all human beings, we need to film them. That is how George Floyd was gotten justice, because somebody, a 17-year-old, filmed them. If it hadn't been for that 17-year-old girl filming that police stop, who knows what would have happened to justice for George Floyd, excuse me. Lastly, boycott all the businesses like Amazon, Walmart, McDonald's. These are businesses that are giving money to this administration. We need to stop. Again, money talks. McDonald's changed their marketing plan because they started taking a hit. Walmart has changed some of their marketing because they've realized not as much traffic. Their actually stocks went down. So if we continue, Target's another one. If we continue boycotting, showing the power of the purse, we can make a change. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with this. There was a president in Mexico called Benito Juarez. He was considered the Lincoln of Mexico. One of his most famous quotes was, "Los derechos de la gente ajena es la paz." The rights of the individuals of the foreigners is the peace. That is what we need to remember. The rights of all individuals, respect them so that we can have peace in our land. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. If you have not spoken to someone that you do not know in this group, would this side turn to that side and say, howdy? Will this side turn to this side and go, howdy? I'm a Bristolian, so I've got that swing and tang in my voice, and I don't try to change it. But I want to say thank you for all of you all who have come out here today to celebrate this great and wonderful, amen, event. We thank our city officials who are here. I see Bristol, Virginia city officials are here. I see Bristol, Tennessee, of course, Miss Margaret Frydenberg is going to be in the house. We're glad that Jake Holmes is here, Mike Pollard, and I believe I see Neil Osborne. And I see another manager, Jake, here that is with us. We say thank you for coming and joining in. You know, there is a right way and a wrong way to do anything. There's a right way how we treat one another. There is a right way how we deliver who we say we are through Christ Jesus. If you say you're a Christian, I like to see people act like Christians. If you say you love me, I like to see you act like you love me. If you say you uphold the law to the full extent, I like to see the law held to the full extent. But when you are mean and evil and do treacherous things towards people, I remember Martin Luther King said this, and he did these things. Peace speak louder. Peace speak louder than war. Another thought came to mind. There was a great speaker that once said, "You may cut down the flowers, but you can't stop the spring." And how many of you know that some flowers are being cut down in our America? There are some mean things that are happening. Our response when we boycott, our response on anything that we do, we must do it out of the spirit of love. We must be the light in the dark places, because darkness cannot erase darkness. Can I get an amen? Light is the only thing to destroy darkness. And you know what this also reminds me of? My favorite words I like to say. This is what democracy looks like. What does democracy look like? What does democracy look like? What does democracy look like? You all go in peace. Have a celebration of a week that we've never had before. Treat one another with kindness. Love one another. And if you don't know your neighbor, get to know them. You may be of help to them one day. God bless you. May God keep you.
Thank you, Jackie, and thank you to all of our speakers. We do have one final speaker. This is BJ Galladay. He has been donating his time and efforts today to provide our music, our sound system, and he's also an entrepreneur, business owner, and dance instructor for State Street Salsa, and has an event that we would like to announce.
How's everybody doing? Yeah, so like I said, my name is BJ Galladay. For those who don't know me, I'm a professional Latin dance instructor here in the Tri-Cities. I offer different events, classes for the community. I teach different styles of dance, from salsa to tango, bachata. I've been doing it for 15 years. And you was thinking about my event. So I'm hosting an event in October. I do this once a year to bring new things to our town, our community. So because everybody always thinks that you have to be in New York or LA to see something great. So I host this event once a year at the Metaview. For those who are familiar with it, it's in Kingsport, Tennessee. It's a black tie event. You get to dress up, and I'm bringing in some famous dancers from in Latin to come and perform for us. We have couples coming in from Argentina, Colombia, Brazil, New York, LA, and these guys are some of the best Latin dancers in the world, and they always come down here every year to put on an amazing show for us. So it's October 18th at the Metaview Convention Center. If you'd like to come, it's $100 a ticket. It covers your dinner, everything. So the way we do it is the doors open at 6 p.m. and then we serve dinner 7 to 8, and then the show is 8 to 9:30. Then after that, we take a little intermission where you can get pictures with the dancers and meet them, and then after that we have a DJ and a band to set up, and then everybody gets to dance all night long to 1 a.m. So this is a great event if you want to see something new, if you want to see dance at the best level, and this event is 18 and up, and we will have a cash bar and everything. And then the next day, on Sunday, October the 19th, these pro dancers that I'm bringing down here, they're going to give lessons to everybody the next day. So if you guys want to learn to dance from these pros, this is a great workshop thing, a great experience. They're going to be teaching you guys some fun techniques and everything. And also, too, if you guys would like to learn how to Latin dance before, I teach twice a week here in the Tri-Cities. On Thursdays, I teach at Bristol Ballet at 7:30 p.m., and the classes are $10. And I teach every Friday in Kingsport at Holloway Dance Studio. And I teach different styles from salsa, bachata, Argentine tango, cha-cha. So pretty much all Latin styles we do. So each week we do something different. It's, dancing's fun, good workout, relieve stress. This is a nice time to get away. If you guys are a couple, there's something come to do together. And like I said, I host different events, parties. I host everything from Latin nights to line dancing, just stuff for the community to do, just stuff for people to get out and have fun, bring people together. And also that's what this event is about, bringing people from all over the world, not just Tri-Cities, but everybody together. You'll get to meet people from all over the world. It's, just one night where everybody dressed up, having a good time, and all unifying and all coming together, because that's what this country needs right now. Everybody coming together and having a good time, and no more violence, no more discrimination. It's just about time. It's all of us coming together. So, and also too, if you want to keep up with me, if you do Facebook, you can go to my business, you can go to my dance page. It's called State Street Salsa. That keeps you up with all the information where I'm, from shows, the parties, events, classes. So, and also too, I got some flyers here if anybody wants one. I have a business card. But like I said, if you guys want to come to this event, let me know and I'll show you how to, get a ticket. And also too, if you want any information for classes or lessons or anything, just come up and see me. But I hope you guys are having a good time and I'm glad to be here and just continue this having this great day. Thank you.